and welcome back to another 3D Hangouts. My name is Noah Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit. Joining me every week is my brother Pedro. Hello.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Pedro, Creative Tech here at Adafruit, and every week we're here to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right. This is the show where we combine 3D printing and DIY electronics to make inspirational projects. Hello, everybody hanging out in the Discord chat room. If you'd like to join us during the show, you can stop by the Adafruit Discord server and say hello. Drop some memes, GIFs, GIFs, all of the things are fun. The link for that is discord.gg/Adafruit. Let me get my banner. There it is. We are hanging out there in the Discord chat room. Welcome to episode 421, or is it 22? I forget. It is November 8th, 2023. And we're hanging out. Do you know what episode number it is? I don't remember.
I don't know. It's either 21 or 22.
Yeah, let me check real quick here. We have... Oh, boy. Why is our playlist truncated?
I like how they add new things and make it more complicated.
I think it's 21, if I'm not mistaken. Did I add last week's to the playlist? Let me see here. We are struggling a bit. We're a little late. We're catching up on stuff, but deal with us. Pedro, you want to shout out people in the Discord chat room?
Yes. Shout out everybody hanging out this morning with us. We got Vince, we got Squid.jpg, Cup of Coffee, Rosin, 2 Wester, all hanging out in the Discord. We're also hanging out in the YouTube chat, on Twitch, which, did load, on Instagram, Periscope.
Cool. I think. And, all right, I added last week's show to the playlist, so we have 421 videos. Yay. So we are indeed 421.
And good morning, Nico, over at the YouTube chat.
Hello. Good morning.
Got a couple of festive projects coming up.
That's right. Let's jump into adafruit.com/free. This week, the deals are about the same as last week. If your order is $99 or more, you're going to get a free PCB coaster with a golden Adafruit logo. This is automatically added to your cart. No need for coupons, but we'll share the coupon in just a moment. If your order is $149 or more, you get an Adafruit KB2040. That's that lovely dev board with the RP2040 chip. If your order is $199 or more, you get the Adafruit KB2040, the PCB coaster, plus free UPS ground shipping for continental US only. And if your order is $299 or more, you get the free shipping, the KB2040, the PCB coaster, and a Circuit Playground Express. All these get automatically added to your cart. And you can go to adafruit.com/free for the details. But they're there.
Nice little Christmas present to have with that CPX.
Yeah. And if you want 10% off your order, good for today, you can use the coupon code LED Tree and get 10% off your total order. All right. And that is the freebie stuff and coupon code.
Awesome. Like you said, this is an awesome LED tree. So
hey, cool. You have one too. How about that? Yeah, so this is a fun project that I started a couple weeks ago. It is 8 LED noodles that are strung together, and they're powered by a Py RP2040 with the assistance of an LED driver. So it's plugged over I2C. You can control it using PWM and Circuit Python, so you can do some really nice fading of the brightness with a gamma correction. It's pretty cool. Pedro, you have like all of the LED noodle colors: pink, red, green, blue, yellow.
This one's warm white, I believe.
A warm white.
Did I miss yellow? I think I've had them all, but yeah, you can see the difference between, like, say, the red and the pink. You can clearly see the different gamma on that.
And I went for a more traditional combination of just 2 colors. The outer spokes are green and the inner spokes are red. My camera is a little bit hard to kind of distinguish between the colors because it's light, but they look really vivid in real life. So the tree itself is a one-piece kind of design that you would print in a translucent material or a clear resin if you're doing a resin print. And then I have this clever tree topper that's designed. I have one piece here, and then two halves that are glued together to form an logo as the star. It's a little bit of it has some depth to it. It's not completely flat, but
I actually didn't glue mine in.
oh, yours just
Yeah,
okay.
it
That
just
works too.
press fits in.
Cool. Well, I glued mine, and you can do that. I printed mine at like a 0.1
Oh,
layer height, so you can get a little bit more detail out of it.
nice.
But if you're printing it in resin, you're gonna get really good detail.
Oh yeah.
But everything prints with no support material. The voltage wires are actually hidden behind this heat shrink tubing. Pedro used a straw, which works out really well too. It's just a clever way to keep your wires bundled together, but you kind of have to route the wires down into the bottom here in order to properly power it, because the LED noodle is, a cathode and an anode on each end. And how would you bring them together? Well, you get them at the tip. Here you can see all the wires kind of coming down into itself, and then this is just hollow. And then I'm using a little bit of mounting tack to kind of keep it in place, because it press fits, but it doesn't stay in place. So a little bit of mounting tack goes a long way. And then the base is two pieces. You have, or actually three pieces. You have a cover here that has a snowflake that's engraved into it, which looks really clever. It has these 4 mounting tabs that get secured to this base. And the base itself has these countersunk screws that attach to the cover and to the LED tree. And then you have a separate mount for the Cutie Pie and the LED driver, which is the AW9523. That's the LED driver chip, which is really nice. You can do up to 16 LEDs. Some of the LEDs you can do without resistors, but because these have these are pretty current hungry LEDs, we are using resistors. But for smaller projects, you don't have to use a resistor, but we'll go over that. And yeah, I like that it's modular. So if you have something else like an Arduino Pro Micro or something else, or a Zhao Seed Studio thing, you can swap that out here. But we're using, of course, the Cutie Pie with the RP2040 chip, because it has a built-in Stemma QT port, which allows you to just connect it to the LED driver board, which makes assembly a lot easier. So that's pretty much the whole model electronics. Pretty straightforward. It can be a little
It's pretty challenging.
yeah,
Let's
because
not lie.
it's like
Let us
I would
not
compare
lie.
it. I know I put it as advanced in the guide, because it's like almost building like a ship in a bottle, because you do have to like use tweezers and be very, very finesse to get these wires to all fit through your piece of heat shrink tubing. And then Pedro, you did something clever with the cover. You actually created a slit so that you can just feed the wire, instead of feeding the wires through this one hole in the center of the snowflake. You can just pass the wires through the slit, which makes it a lot easier. So I have those both as an option.
Same thing with the straw too. If you don't pass it through while you're still threading everything through,
yeah,
I just cut the entire. This is like a Chick-fil-A straw. Just cut it vertically all the way through, and it should
you
have enough. It'll like
that's clever.
close up on itself, so you
Yeah,
don't even need the heat shrink. I still have a heat shrink in there though, just to have it bundled up. You can kind of see the way that it pops out of there. It keeps the string nice and like bundled right at the top here, so you can see that the white shrink wrap is still there. I just have the straw right over top of it.
Cool, very nice. Yeah, it's about 11 inches tall, so it's desktop sized. It's meant to be powered through the wall, so I have this USB-C cable that goes to my wall adapter. But you could power it off a battery. We were doing that for some of the shots where it's rotating. But it's fully remixable. The STL and the step file and the Fusion 360 models are all available. And you can use all sorts of fun filaments for the top. I'm using a copper and then that tricolor filament from Zyro that has this really cool gradient. This topper works really well for that. And then you can use whatever for the base. But having said that, I used PCBWay to 3D print me a super nice resin version. It was a little late, but this is printed in clear resin using their 3D printing service from PCBWay. It came in a little deformed, so it was like kind of squished, but I was able to flex it and then use the topper, the cover for the base. I was able to squeeze it into place and then get my screws in between the tabs. I did have to tap these threads with my screw tap, but it worked out well. I ran out of time, but I was able to get one LED noodle fitted in there. And because it's super smooth, it installs beautifully. Like, it's so nice. It fits perfectly like a glove. It stays in place. I can still take it out. No need to add glue to it. It looks beautiful. I can't wait to, I think over the weekend, I'll like swap
everything
out.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, dang.
But it's very nice. It isn't cheap.
It's easier said than done, I think.
Right. It costs $30 to get this, but
Oh.
plus $30 shipping, you're looking at $60. But if you want something one of a kind, model, and it's fairly big, it's this big. If you have like a resin printer that can print this big, do it on yourself. But if you don't and you want to spend a little bit of money, you can get it printed from PCBWay. I think they're the only ones that do a clear varnish finish on their resin parts, and it is flexible, so it might come in a little distorted, deformed, but it will flex back into shape once you mount it to this cover. But yeah,
we were chatting about the material properties of that before the show. You were saying it's not grippy, so it's not like a Ninja Flex 85A.
No, it's not grippy at all. It's very slick, very slippery. But yeah, it's a nice part for it.
And you're saying they spray a varnish on there to get that shine?
Yeah, they do. It has no smell and it's not tacky, so it's very nicely cured. So they cure it and post-process it for you. But it's very, very clear. You've seen us print other models like this D20, very clear.
Yeah,
and some of the printed place models.
Yeah, that it's not hard, that it's like almost like malleable.
It is malleable, yeah. The thinner it is, the more malleable it is.
Wow.
So we 3D printed our snap fit cases as a test, and that seems to work out. So you can do snap fit geometry, the exact same geometry for like an FDM print. But yeah, I don't know if it had supports. It probably did, but I don't see any, blemishes or anything like that in the print. It just looks super smooth and clear. So if you want to do resin, you can do resin.
Very nice.
And that is my review of PCBWay. It came in deformed, but it wasn't too bad of an issue.
No, it actually probably it's one of the material properties for it, I'm sure. I think they give you like a list, like if it's good for a temperature, like high temperature or something like that. And
yeah, you can do
durability.
Yeah, this one here is like a high temperature. That's that black resin. It's a different type of resin. It's like high resistant to high temperatures and a little bit more durable. So we had our lightsaber hilt printed in that material. But yeah, there you go.
I know,
that is our quick update
on links.
Okay. Over on learn.adafruit.com is the Learn Guide. It was published yesterday. Overview covers 2 product guides. We have a Uber guide on Noodles. If you want to learn more about Noodles or some more demo code, you can check that out. Or if you want more information on the LED driver, you can check that out. Everything is in stock. You can choose your color of LED noodle. We have a bunch of them, and they're the 300 millimeter long version. If you click on one, you can see that we have all the different colors: blue, yellow, pink, red. They're all about the same price. Just be careful that
is the voltage who wants to be more power hungry. And just by looking at it with the resistors on there, you can see it's like the green, the blue, and the orange. It's like the pink. You could probably put like a 100 ohm resistor on it to get. So it's not, so dimmed where you can see all the individual little lights.
Yeah.
But that
the blue one, you can really see
that. You can see the green there, that it's all diffused.
Yeah, it's all nice.
The blue one.
Yeah, the blue one is So
you can scroll down too. It tells you the specs for it, the data sheet for each color too.
Yeah. Yep. So one thing I thought was funny, as we'll get to it. So these are the parts. You'll definitely want a stemma QT cable, right? I guess we're out of stock for the shorter ones.
Oh, crap.
But maybe you can get those from other places. The QT Py RP2040 is in stock, and of course, the LED driver is in stock. You do want to have some resistors. So when I originally did the first prototype, I didn't use any resistors, and they power on, but they draw so much current that the CircuitPython drive doesn't mount. This is a very strange thing, but if you look at the product data or the product learn guide about the LED driver, you'll see that in some cases where you do draw too much current, you'll want to use a resistor, even though you don't need a resistor on some smaller LEDs. So I think up to 4 LEDs, you don't need a resistor, but once you max out the current, you're going to need some resistors. So that's just the way it is. And then a couple screws here listed, but that's pretty much the main circuit. Well, speaking of the circuit, over on the circuit diagram, you can see here that I have my LEDs wired up, but only 4 of them have resistors. Pedro, you put resistors on all of them, which is a smart way to go.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I was testing like all sorts of different combinations of resistors, and it turns out just 4 of them was just enough to not draw too much current. So depending on your colors, you'll want to use resistors depending on which color you have. But for me, in my setup where I had the 4 reds and the 4 greens, the green ones tend to have worked best with the resistors. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty straightforward. You'll want to make sure that your ground and voltage wires are matching in pairs, because if they're not, then the driver just won't power them properly. So you just want to make sure that they're, in the right corresponding matching pairs of pins. But it's pretty easy to read the pins.
Yeah, otherwise it won't light up sequentially how you want it.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and we came up with a clever solution to kind of test the wires once they're wired up. We'll see here in the assembly in a minute. But yeah, this is all put together with the open source fritzing software. Adafruit has a parts library, so you can always download the parts or the library as a whole and create your own wiring diagrams. But yeah, we still use fritzing, and we probably always will. All right, over to the CAD files. You can get the source files. It's the step file, the Fusion 360 file, and this STLs. Handful of parts. The nice photo there. Your build volume, you'll want a 3D printer with a minimum build volume of 112 by 230. So that's kind of tall. I printed it on a Creality Ender 3 V2. Pedro used the CR10 S Pro, I believe. Definitely enough space there. Yeah. And then that's just helps you see before you download the files if it's going to fit your printer. And if not, of course, you could use a third party like PCBWay or some of the other ones. You do want to use a translucent filament if you're doing an FDM 3D printer. We use just your regular clear filament. I use clear filament. Did you use clear filament or white filament?
Yeah, it's the clear from Hatchbox. That came out really good.
Cool.
Nice and translucent and sturdy, like strong.
Nice. I use clear filament from Matter Hackers, I believe. And you could try white, but it's going to be a little bit more washed out, I think. So the clear tends to work well. No support material on this because just the geometry works out where you don't need supports. Maybe you want a brim. Maybe not. Did you use a brim?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so sometimes a brim is a good idea. I was lucky my bed's still fresh, so it's still got a lot of stick to it. So that worked out well. And then if you want some 3D models of like the LED driver, the QT Py, you can go to our repo on GitHub and download those models or fetch them out of the Fusion 360 model if you want. But we have these in different file formats too. And that is the CAD parts. Over on the CircuitPython page, just walks you through installing the latest version of CircuitPython on your QT Py board. So you just walk through that. And then the code. The code is basically the demo code that I cribbed from Phil Burgess's Uber Noodle guide. He already had like it set up for like 2 LED noodles, so I just added more pins, and that was it. I just added more pins. But this takes care of doing really smooth fading using gamma correction. It's using like a sine wave to using math
to ramp
to ramp it up and make a really nice smoothing thing. If you look at like the demo code for the LED driver, I think it's not as smooth. So Phil B did a good job here where he like added a little bit of math and gamma correction to make it really nice and smooth. So you can get some really nice animations with this demo code. But yeah, it's pretty much from Phil B. I just added more pins. That was it. But we do have an LED driver library. It's the Adafruit AW9523 library. We also have an Arduino library for it if you want to use that. But you can use the project bundle. I think there's just 2 libraries that get added to your CircuitPy drive. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Onto the wiring. You'll want some short wires and some long wires. I have the lengths of the wires for each of the ground and the voltage. And you just want to solder them up. I really like these Omni Fixo helping hands. They're the best in my opinion. They're magnetic. So I'm using them here. So you want to create your sets of LED noodles depending on the colors. You know, just want to make sure that you have some sort of way to differentiate between the voltage and the ground wires. So I'm using white wires for the ground and red wires for the voltage wires. The LED noodles have these little dots on them on one of the pins, and that lets you know that's the anode, which is the voltage, the positive pin. And then the one without the notch is the ground. Installing the noodles is pretty straightforward. They literally press fit into the channels of the spokes on the LED tree part. They can come off, but because they're silicone based skin, like they grip on pretty well. So you just want to make sure that they're like kind of evenly spaced. There is a little bit of extra space on the top and bottom, just because that's just the way it worked out with the model. Like I couldn't get it exactly precise.
No,
so
you need it actually for the soldering part there for the wire, the way it connects. You're going to need that extra bit there. So try to, when you're putting like dry fitting it on to see where you need it to go, make sure you have extra, the space is even on the bottom and the top so that the wires, you have enough space to put them on there. And then don't twist them. They are not like a circle. They're more like a, what's the shape called? I know it's in the Uber guide.
Oblong.
Yeah, it's like oblong. So it's like a little stretched. So I get like the thinner section to press it in there because then it'll hold the wider part will like press fit against the walls to sort of press fit it in.
Yeah, it squishes in because of the silicone. So it holds it with friction.
And as you're like press fitting it into the channels, make sure not to twist the noodle too. So make sure that it's like all in one like unison. So it's all not twisting around as you're twisting it around.
Yeah, it could break, I guess, in that sense, because they're very fine. I haven't been able to break it, but
I was thinking not breaking, but more along the lines of the way that it looks when it's gonna light up. You don't want that because you do see like sort of a dark spot like on one of the sides. So what I'm doing is like hiding it, you know, so it's up against the wall, so it's not visible.
Okay.
So that's one thing to look out for too. When it lights up, you will notice if you're twisting your noodle around. So just try to have it all the LEDs facing one side. One direction, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, totally.
And then I just thought of this for the wiring. You should have put the headers that it comes with, and then just use female jumper wires to connect each one. So if you get it wrong, oops, let me just pop it out. And
yeah, you could do that, or yeah, probably that'd be a better idea than like using
because then it's like non-destructive
connectors. Yeah, yeah, those are good ideas.
But of course, that's hindsight, you know, always when you're done building a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure folks will come up with their own solutions too. But I recommend using the silicone wire. We have spools of them in different colors. They're here in the product list link. And we have all the different colors of heat shrink tubing, but you could use a straw or some sort of crafty thing. I ended up using 2 heat shrink tubings because they weren't long enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to get the wires in there though, and they're all pre-tinned, so that's good to have everything pre-tinned before you start installing it. And then feeding it through the center can be a little bit tricky, but just kind of squeeze it through. I ended up like butting up the heat shrink tubing just to the tip of the wire, so I can like avoid fraying the wires, you know, when you're inserting it. It's like threading a needle essentially. So, but once you got that going on, you can slowly pull the wire so that it's taut at the tip here. And here's what the tip looks like. And then from there, you can get you can either choose to use the cover that has a slit or the cover that does not have a slit and get them threaded through the hole, depending on how you want to do it. And then from there, you can either have the, let me zoom in. You can either have the top cover or bottom cover fitted through the inside of the tree or have it on the outside of the tree. I have it on the inside of the tree, but I had to flex it a little bit to get those tabs inside.
I couldn't get it in.
Yeah, I noticed
I
you
saw how
didn't
did
need
it.
to. Yeah,
I tried, but I couldn't
yeah,
get
you
it
don't.
in.
Yeah, like with this one, I think, yeah, with this one, I have it on the outside. So it works either way. It really does. It really doesn't matter. So you can choose how you want to do it. And then here's how we came up with like testing, because once you have the wires all threaded through the heat shrink tubing, threaded through the top, threaded through the hole in the center of the bottom cover, how do you know what wire is what? Because they're all the same color. Well, I'm using a CR2032 coin cell battery to test out the pairs of wires. So I'm just like testing out the wires and making sure what lights up. And then that way you can figure out what kind of order do I want my noodles to fade in. Because if you're doing it through the code, you can change it, of course. But if you want it to be all kind of sequential and going around in a circle, you want to create your order by figuring out what wire goes where. So you can use a coin cell battery to test out your matching pairs of wires. So that's what we did here.
Yeah, I did the hard way, looping.
What's the hard way?
Doing each one at a time, because that involves taking it off the helping hands, moving it over, like so you're doing this back and forth of remounting, unmounting, remounting, unmounting, because you're soldering each one, like getting it through the ground and the power, soldering it up, having the AW9 held on, unmounting it, moving it over, moving your tree over.
Wow.
So, yeah,
that's the hardest.
That's because I didn't want to do that. I was like, I want to make sure that there's no way, because there's no other wire here. You know, I'm doing it in order, wire by wire.
Yeah, but then you'd have to. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, it's like
it's easier when you're not filming, because I didn't have to worry about that.
Right. Yeah. Right. I'm sure people come up with their own method, but I found that to be okay.
Yeah, I think the other way too is just having like little strips. I mean, we used to do this when we first started, having like little pieces of the tape and then taping it.
Labeling them.
Labeling it that way.
Yeah.
That's just as time consuming. You got to pick which one you want to do. I think it's all the same.
It is. It's all time consuming, and that's just the nature of this.
And even with that, be methodical, being like, okay, I know this is ground, I know this is positive. I had to freaking flip the wrong way.
Yeah.
So I had to go back in there, solder the ground, put it in the, just basically just swap them out for each pin.
I'll share a quick story. When I originally did it, I actually had all of the voltage wires going to one pin.
Oh.
So they wouldn't animate. They would just stay on. So I learned quickly that, like, the LED driver needs to have individual voltage pins. That's why there's so many voltage pins. You know?
I had the same idea, but with the ground. I was like, why don't we just hook it all up to one ground? Oh yeah, duh, because that's how figuring out which one to go next.
Right. It'll just the driver wants individual pins. So that's why you're doing it. But either way, you have a whole set of pins here. I have the resistors on the ground, but resistors they're not very polarity driven, like polarity specific. They could go on either way. I just like having them a little bit on the outside.
I remember doing it on power, going, is this correct? Oh no.
Oh really? No, it doesn't matter.
That's what I thought one of the problems was, when I wasn't even turning on at all.
Yeah, 220 ohm is kind of the standard rule of thumb for your LED. So that's what we're using here. You can get a pack of them. I just trim the wires, or trim the leads of the resistor short. And I guess you could add heat shrink tubing here if you were afraid that you'll short them out, but I didn't. Did you have to?
No, there's enough spacing between the resistors. You can see there's unless you bend them right at the tip, they're not going to touch. But
yeah, me too. Yeah, and you kind of create a right angle.
I did, yeah.
So, and then you could always bend them a little bit. Just be careful.
But, they're
Yeah.
bent at a, what is that, 90 degree or whatever.
Yep. But yeah, once you get them soldered in, it's easy to plug in the cutie pie. That's so nice. I don't have to solder 4 extra connections. So it's nice there. That's a nice break. And then from here,
the cutie pie is now non-destructive, man. This is
it's
so
very
freaking
nice.
beautiful.
Yeah, you can swap out the cutie pie. If you wanted this to be a Wi-Fi, you can add in the cutie pie
Exactly,
ESP32
yeah.
or the ESP Pico, and then you can have a Wi-Fi LED tree
Mhm.
if you want. We have all sorts of cutie pie BFFs. If you want it to go off a battery, you can do that.
Or
Yeah,
sound
it's really nice.
reactive.
Or sound reactive, yeah.
I thought that's what the code you grabbed, the one how Liz made it with the MIDI controller where she had it plugged in to the thing. I thought that's what the code was.
Nope. This is just standard. Pretty basic. But from here, you definitely want to test out your wiring before you start installing the mounting, the PCB mount and the base and all that. So this is a good stopping point to test out your noodles. I do have a bracket here. The cutie pie just press fits in, clips into the little holder there, and then we have some standoffs and some M25 screws for securing the LED driver, because that one does have 4 mounting holes. They're M25 size holes, so you can just pass them through, and then you're basically self tap them with the screws onto the standoffs. It's pretty thin, it's pretty flexible, so it should print pretty easily. And then there's 2 extra tabs on the PCB mount to attach it to the 2 holes, the corresponding holes on the base here. So you get those in, you use some hex nuts to secure it in place. Although I didn't need hex nuts because like the tolerances were tight, so it just, as you can see in the photo, I actually don't have hex nuts. But if it's loose on your printer, you'll want to add those hex nuts so it doesn't fall out. But from there, you just want to be careful with the wires and make sure you're not kinking them, and that the LED noodles stay in place inside the channels when you're joining the base to the tree. So you just line up those mounting tabs, and then you can insert those M3 screws through the bottom of the base, and they kind of poke out through the top of the cover or the top of the LED tree, and then use some hex nuts here. Here you can see I'm using my wire cutters as a way to get in between the spokes to hold the to get the hex nuts like secured on tightly.
When you use a drill, it'll tighten it without needing
really?
to hold it. Yeah, because it spins so fast that it tightens it for you.
Yeah. I thought about doing it in the reverse, where I'd have the screw come up from the top, but then you can't get it unless you have like a right angled thing.
Oh, what about the long ones I sent you? The long bits. That's why I got them actually for countersunk.
It's still a very tight spot. Like the spoke just gets in the way. So,
do you have a drill? The little. Want me to send you one of the little drills?
No, I have one of these things.
Man,
these right angled socket wrenches.
Oh no, I meant like just drill.
Oh,
like man, I stopped using that little pen one we used to sell.
Yeah,
freaking garbage, man. You can't tap nothing with that.
Yeah, you got that bigger drill.
Yeah,
I'll get one. Maybe Christmas. From there, though, I got these rubber feet because if you don't have them, those screws stick out a little bit. So rubber feet are great, and they give you grip.
I still have to add mine. I forgot.
Yeah, because otherwise it's gonna lop just a little bit.
It's gonna scratch your table.
Yeah,
the screws on there.
Yep. The last bit is to attach the topper and the Adafruit star to the little hole. They should have a nice friction fit. If not, you could add some glue.
Deburr tool too to open up the hole a little bit if you need.
Yeah, you can do that. I think I used my little sandy filing tool to open it up a little bit. After that, you just plug it in. You got a nice hole for the USB cable to stick through. You'll want to use a 5-volt 1-amp power supply or your computer's laptop or USB battery. And that's it. That's pretty much it. The hardest part is just soldering it. Yeah, wiring it up and getting it. Even if it's randomized, I think it's still going to give you a good effect.
Like I will never see this in a store for purchase because of the assembly for this.
Yeah, it's fucking hectic.
There's no way you could sell this for $50 or whatever retail, because the assembly for this alone is like
Yeah.
No way. So
Yeah,
this
and
is
it was
actually
modeled
really
for the LED noodle, like the length of the noodle, like it's modeled for it.
big.
So
That's
you
an
could scale it
excellent
up, but
test
like,
map.
what would you use? I guess like a NeoPixel strip or something. But then you're looking at
Oh
like a
yeah,
big
yeah.
part. But yeah, it's pretty neat. I've been wanting to do a 3-dimensional
Oh, this
LED
is really
noodle
good.
project, and with the holiday here, it's just
Mhm.
made sense to make it an LED tree.
No,
So
it's perfect for the desk. It is so colorful. It's the design of it. It's like
yay. Yeah,
whimsical. Like,
it was very tricky too in Fusion to come up with like a way to create a channel, because I can
oh
make
man,
a
this
spokey
is
thing, but
insane. Yeah,
it took a lot of trial and error in
you got to
Fusion to
do
come
a
up with
layer by layer on the
yeah,
construction.
I'm thinking about it.
This
Yeah,
is
it's a combination of
dang
like
good.
using the coil and then sweep and then the
Mm-hmm.
pipe tool. Like I
And the
rarely
way it
use the pipe
tapers.
tool, but the pipe tool works out really well for creating that channel that sweeps along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is this week's project. Check it out. It is live.
Should send the print to JP so he can use it on his Lego town build. The
Ooh, yeah.
LEDs, like
It
it
would
would
look
it
really good
fits
for Lego
so
Town.
well with all the light up decoration stuff that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yay, LED noodles. So pick up your LED noodles or your LED driver with our coupon code LED tree. You get 10% off your festive parts.
That is a good idea. Vince is saying that he wants to do some CNC some channels in wood for them.
Oh wow, that would be cool.
That looks
That's
so
a good idea.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. You want to use a small. They're about 2
Mhm.
millimeters in diameter. The noodles.
Mhm.
Yeah, stay around there. So what is 2 millimeters to inches?
In the attempt of not being too repetitive, I wanted to do one with the noodles where it was the Mighty Pups, the new movie for
The Mighty
Paw
Pups.
Patrol came up. Yeah, and it's basically Avengers with the pups. They'll get
Yeah.
like these like their suits look just like the Avengers, but it looks like it's LED nudes in the freaking, it's just a cartoon, but it looks like the way that they're doing the lighting for their costume. I was like, oh, this would be awesome for a harness for our dog.
Mm. Oh, that's good. On Discord, getting the length would be a challenge from Vince. Yes, that was a challenge for me. Like I couldn't get it precise, so
Yeah.
a little bit of slack is okay, I think. And then DJ Devin is saying, he's thinking to do the same thing with aquarium tubing. That could be cool. Yeah, getting them in though, like, getting them to stay in place is, I guess, the thing. Like, how would you do that? But good ideas, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking too, like, what could I print or what could I take off the shelf to keep the noodle in shape? There is the solid core wire, like a brass wire that you could shape and form, and then you can kind of use nylon filament or something, fishing string, to kind of tie it to that. So you can do that, I guess.
I think the easiest one is the one that we ran out of time for, and man, I was sick over the weekend. Otherwise, this is exactly what I was gonna do with what is mentioned here by where'd it go? Looks like it was just deleted. Somebody in the Discord just said that can we 3D print? Thought it was squid. The comment's gone now. If we could just 3D print the tube, and yeah, that's what I was gonna do, but man, I was under the weather. And you were already like filming and
yeah,
the learn guide. At a certain point, it's like it's cut off, man. We can't do
I
anything more.
I thought about creating
It would be like
integrating a tube into the cover would be interesting, because then you
I
can
say
create this kind
separate.
of cool shaped tube.
Yeah. I
But
say
yeah,
separate with
I ran out
so
of
it
time.
spirals, so it's hidden. You know what I mean? So you don't see like the slit on there.
Yeah, you could 3D print the tube for sure.
Yeah, you could totally do the different one.
Yeah, and it'd be the perfect
The
length and everything.
the straws, these Chick-fil-A straws,
Yeah,
perfect
those are
length,
great.
perfect color, perfect diameter, and then the characteristics of the straw itself, like I'm saying, it like closes in on itself, so it hides where where you thread it through, or not even thread, you just push it through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all sorts of Different
Yeah, it
ways
was
to do
the
it.
fastest way. I didn't think it was gonna work. I thought it was gonna look lame, and it was the last straw too.
That's
Literally
funny.
the last straw.
The last straw.
I think the other one was like a McDonald's one. I was like, nah, this is
Oh,
gonna
dude,
look like a freaking straw because it has the yellow and the red in there.
this is a good one. DJ Devon's like, you could with a slip ring, you could have a rotating Christmas tree. Yes, I actually was
Yes,
thinking
you.
to do that, but I was like, man,
Mhm.
that is so involved. A little
Like,
bit too
yeah.
over the top. Like I really thought about doing that, and I was about to get the smallest slip ring. We do have a pretty small slip ring,
Yeah.
but it's
Mhm.
just a lot of extra work. I did think about like having it spinning slowly.
Yeah, that was the
I was
talk.
like, I need to come up with like a minimum viable project,
And
and
of course,
having it
with
just being
them,
static was enough for me.
I
Um,
know.
but yeah, give that a try, man. That sounds really cool. I did think about
Mhm.
it. I've been wanting to use a slip ring to do something like that,
Yeah,
something spinning.
it's gonna be the R2D2, man.
Yeah, probably the
There's no
R2D2s.
way around it for that one.
Yeah, yeah, gotta get that. But yeah, we do have slip rings.
Mhm. Yes, that is
Cool.
definitely a mechanical gear project, the
Yep.
R2D2.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
Well, we
yeah, again, apologies. This is not a simple one. Like I did this like
yeah.
right when at peak when I was sick at 1 a.m, soldering this stuff. I'm like, oh my god,
This is a cool
this is
idea
not
from Yanni.
easy at all.
So
But
using
definitely,
nails on a using nails on a piece of wood to kind of create this.
that is a good
Yeah.
idea.
So imagine having your noodles kind of go
Mhm.
through. Obviously, you don't have the dexterity like a like yarn or
Mhm.
thread,
Yeah,
but the idea
there's
is
a
there.
radius that you can bend it. I think Philby has it in the Uber guide, the
Right.
maximum that you're able to bend it at.
Yep. Yep. About a millimeter, I think. It's like bending metal. Like you have this like allowance of clearance,
Mhm.
the bend radius.
Yep. I
Cool.
passed that on one of the edges for doing the ultra hand, where it was like, oh no, like when you bend it a certain way, the whole strip would just turn off.
Oh, that's dope. Check this out.
That is a nice idea. What?
It's a nude with heat shrink on brass wire.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
brass
there's so
wire
many,
is a good idea.
and I just so many awesome touches. Just having like a little strip of light on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we're
Yeah.
ready to jump into this week's. Were we prototyping?
Yeah. Yep.
All
Let's see it.
right, this week
Around.
continuing on with the cases for the Qualia supported round displays. Oh, I did not load my camera. Let's see.
Uh-oh.
Extra camera.
While you do that, I'm gonna load.
Nothing really. It's still the same. Oh, okay. Switch camera angles. Boop, doop. Oh, there we go. All right. So yeah, here is the round display case for this guy. Finally got the lid on there. I'm using translucent because I'm feeling festive, so everything's going to be translucent for this build. We've got the yellow and the green going on there. We have the USB ports that'll plug in. Unfortunately, I don't want to use like any wires to sort of route this around, so it's just going to go directly through and plug in. There's just enough clearance for that. And then the lid that goes on top. And I finally got this to snap in with just a couple of
Oh, nice.
yeah. So again, not a true circle. It's like this weird like oval you can see here, just because of the way that this thing is here,
Mm-hmm.
and then this part right here, just the way it like doubles around. So it's not like a real circle. It's like an ellipse that's like squished.
Yeah.
So that was fun to figure out the shape with that. I saw Lamar did have the in one of the previews. What was it? The 2.1-inch touchable round display, and that'll be a lot more easier because the touch thing that they put on top forces it to have that circle. So hopefully that'll be easier to model. But we'll have this guy, and then I got the 3.4 inch. This one is the touch display, and I got the buttons on here. Super happy with the Ninja Flex buttons on here. I didn't think it was going to work. It's just one strip.
Yay.
Able to push down on the buttons. You have access to your USB port. If we open this thing up, I still have to add snaps into this. I just got the tolerances right. I was like way off. I don't know how I got, instead of 0.2, I put like 0.4. I was like, oh no, that's for when you're fitting things into parts. That's the tolerance for that. Yeah. So yeah, here's the strip for that. You got the frame that goes around it that holds on the Qualia. Same thing with this guy here that it's holding on. And then yeah, it's just a little strip in here of Ninja Flex, and this is the 95A. So even Bowden printers should be able to print this.
Yeah, they do.
And you have access to all your buttons there.
Yeah, that's good. Great use of the TPU.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, pretty much it.
Cool shape.
Was for some demo code, and this one, the video for this one is just going to be really highlighting the Qualia driver for this, because there's just so many displays. I think the next one I'll do, hopefully it's not too hard, the rectangular. If not, it's just going to be these two for. I mean, it's just about the board anyway. So
yeah, I think 2 is fine. Does seem to be the popular one. People really want round.
Yeah.
Devin has an idea for the round display. Wants to do a giant minion.
Yes.
The minion with the one eye. I think it's Stuart.
Well, dang it, Phoebe's on vacation, but I wanted to do the snow globe, you know, but that particle physics, that's Phoebe's game. Man.
Yeah, particle. Cool. Yeah. Well, some more cool, interesting.
The eyeball, of course.
Maybe the eyeball's a big one.
A abominable snowman eyeball or something. I don't know. You could fit the all day. And I think the demo that Lamar keeps showing off is like the best one, for the touchscreen anyway, where you can change the colors. That'd be so cool as a little digital sketchbook for the kids, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Excellent for that. And I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting the tolerances to go in there.
Cool. Yeah. After this, we're going to do a Mars Earth clock. So we'll come up with some fun kind of mid-century modern case design using your model as a reference, and then just kind of create
the mounts.
Yeah, some sort of curvy thing for it to make it look like it's from the 50s of the future of the 1950s.
I was going to say, yeah.
The idea is to have, you know, the image of the round Mars, and then you tap the screen and it'll change to Earth, and you'll be able to see the different times. And it'll have the analog hands, so that'd be a cool thing. But that's after this one, just kind of highlighting the board and the displays, the Python support, the Arduino support, and then a dedicated project. So that is the lineup.
Yep,
very cool.
I like the Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski is a good idea too. All the Cyclops unite. Get some single eyeballs. Cool.
We're prototyping.
Yeah. Okay. We got 10 minutes left.
Oh,
we are ready for
Community Makes.
Community Makes. Yeah. So what you got there?
Community Makes. I think I have the video loaded up. If you want to grab it, this is some really cool circular art from 3D Bunny. I've seen a bunch of these pop up. We were laughing that usually the stringing that we see in the time lapses is frowned upon, but for this one, it's part of the design.
It makes it, yeah.
And it's really cool.
Yeah, this is definitely like a different style of modeling where you use these strings to create something of art. So in this case, it's just kind of creating these different lines as a pattern. It almost reminds me like an Indian catcher, a dream catcher, rather. Also, there are models where you can suspend a model inside the string. So that's another thing that I've been seeing a lot of. And 3D Bunny on printables has a whole collection of these models.
Yeah, they're so
very cool. And it's a great use of the rainbow filament.
Oh yeah. One thing to note though is right when I was done with shooting that, I dropped it not even far down, and you can kind of see a bunch.
Yeah, one of the wires broke. Oh, I see it now.
A bunch of them did.
Yeah. DJ Devin says like, wow, that is some crazy bridging.
Yeah.
I mean, look how giant it is.
Yeah, it's
amazing that you can get one line going across. It is delicate, but you can, it's a bit of an art. So when you sliced it, it just knows to use one string and not like.
I'm guessing the size of it is just small enough to where the geometry doesn't
0.4.
get picked up. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably
like your nozzle is
0.4.
0.4, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm
It's probably
guessing
what the
that's
size of it is.
what it is. Yeah. No
Oh my
support
god,
material,
yes.
obviously.
Vince is saying this would be cool as nudes too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Be
It'd be
insane.
wild. String art with noodles. That's a lot of noodles. That'd be so bright and turn white.
I mean, with the resistors on, it can dim it down.
True. Cool. But yeah, let me pull up 3D
time
Bunny.
lapse. Oh,
I already showed the time lapse.
yes.
Let's look at
Oh,
3D Bunny. So here's her model. I think she did the color swaps. Here's like a regular color, single color. Great use of the rainbow filament though, if you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of their designs are just a slew of these. Like,
yeah, those right there.
where's the public models? There's some more string art here. Some suspended stuff. Here's like a skull.
That's
Looks
probably the
amazing.
one I should do next.
Yeah, right. Maybe there'll be some holiday ones.
Yeah, probably need
So you can see here
now.
how like the shapes kind of get fed into it, and they create the suspended thing. So the idea is that it's a whole art. The frame is what keeps the lines in place.
I like the one where it's raining on what's his name?
Alone art.
That guy.
Yeah. I think I saw one where there's like a hand suspended in it.
There it is, yeah.
Yeah, here's like the rain where the line becomes the rain. And like it looks like this umbrella is suspended. So that's a super clever way. Here's the cow. This one I think got an award or something. It featured with the cow. I think it's a multi-material part. But you can see the cow and its umbrella. Very cute. And on and on and on. So definitely check out 3D Bunny on all the printing sites.
Lots of awesome designs.
There's some more. The vase with string. That's cool. All sorts of fun stuff. So shout out to 3D Bunny for sharing their models for free on printables. All right, so that's this week's Timelapse Tuesday. Check it out. We have links to the model in the description. And now let's check out some community makes. You only have a handful here. First up, we have a make of the TVA time stick from the TV show Loki. This was posted up by Michelle Tran. And they say, first time doing electronics project, starting out just 3D printing, came across it, give it a shot. That said, it wasn't easy. The project was listed as intermediate, but I went straight into it, following the instructions step by step. 3D printing part was the easiest. Every part needed no supports, and it came out perfect. Easily screwed together with no glue. I had so much fun with this, learning to solder, understanding how the Feather M4 thing works. Thank you.
What? How cool.
Thank you for posting that, Michelle. This looks great. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Goal achieved.
Yeah, right.
There's the goal right there.
I love it when like the 3D printing is the easy part and the electronics is the learning part. So that's kind of what our whole shtick is.
No, I like that. The avenue to get them into that was Loki. A Loki stick.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the next one is another TBA stick. This one is from Canon. Brugman. This model's amazing. I had to reprint some of the parts due to it breaking, but he fixed it with using 4 wall loops and a hexagon infill. Thanks for sharing.
He fixed the temporal loom. What?
That's funny. Yeah. So you can pick whatever color. You can sand it. You can post-process it if you like, or you can just use a nice filament. And here you can see how I think they're just going to print the model. You don't even have to do electronics if you don't want, which is cool too, because they all just screw together. They all snap fit. So that's really nice. And this was, again, from Canon on printables. And then the last one from this week is the lightsaber, the RP2040 lightsaber. Darren posted theirs up. They said, in the process of building the electronics, love the design. And they printed it in this nice shiny black.
Whoa.
And there's the prop maker. Very cool. Yeah. It's funny to see two back-to-back time sticks because season 2 of Loki.
It's
really
the
in.
one from the past.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, and of course you can get a TVA time stick from Shop.Disney, but it's like $100.
Yeah,
And
we
it's
saw
probably
some
not as
reviews,
responsive or fun.
Mm-hmm.
But it has sound effects, of course. We use
They're not even that good,
They
unfortunately.
normally aren't. Yeah. Thanks everybody for posting your community makes. They're super awesome to look at. Let's head back over. Don't switch.
Like our goal is to make things better than what they do for Disney at the parks.
Yeah, for mass manufacturing, they got to cheap out to make it affordable.
Oh boy, did they cheap out.
Yeah. They have nice looks though, like the outer skin. You could always take
The
outer
case
skin.
looks
The
nice.
Ahsoka lightsabers, great example of
Nope.
and upgrading it with some
not
DIY
always,
electronics and some better code.
And there was a comment I'm gonna laugh at. What was it?
Hee hee ha ha.
It's gone.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We're going to round off the show. Don't forget, if you want to pick up some parts, today's coupon code is LED Tree. Gets you 10% off your order. Of course, you get all the freebies. If you hit those price tiers, we'll have a coupon code later tonight on Ask an Engineer. But before then, we have Show and Tell hosted by Liz Clark. Liz Clark will be hosting tonight. Come on the Discord chat room, say hello. We'll get an invite link to the StreamYard so you can come on and share your projects, your working projects, your crafts, whatever. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern Time is Ask an Engineer. Open source hardware news, new products, INMPI, and more.
Oh, that's what the question was. Will we be making a Raspberry 5 case?
Yes.
You know it. Of course.
Yes. I'll give a shout out here to
GrabCAD.
GrabCAD, Mate Zelk.
Nice.
Posted up a really nice model of the Raspberry Pi 5. It's free to download. I haven't checked it out yet, but it's in a step file, so you can import it into Open Shape, Onshape, SolidWorks, Fusion 360.
Yep.
Instructions. And it has all the things. It has the ports. I think it's correct.
Do they have the cooler, the active cooler? Because that's what Lamar wants. She wants the.
I'll just add it to it. I'll add the cooler to it, but it seems to be accurate.
I'll
have to check it out. I have one on hand. I finally got my hands on one. Still in the box. I won't take it out before I'm ready to.
I know, it's like, what works on there?
Yeah, this was published November 2nd.
It's the name of Bookworm, right? The OS Bookworm.
I'm not sure.
Melissa's still updating everything for it. Like everything broke, of course.
Oh, let me put a link to this on Discord if you want a CAD model.
But yeah, the case is being worked on with room for the active cooler on top.
Yeah, definitely at least a case. So we'll see when we get to that. We do have the Qualia cases to kind of dish out, but then we'll get on some Pi cases. Maybe I'll mill one. I don't know. We'll see. What's this?
What is this part?
Something about the DJ Devin talking about the sensitivity about the lightsaber. You can adjust it. Yes, of course. Yeah, by default, set to the most sensitive. Comment so people know how to decrease sensitivity. Yeah. Will you show a layer by layer on the design process of the Raspberry Pi case? Maybe.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I say the tree one first, though. Although the case would definitely get more views, though.
Yeah, I think it'd be more.
Oh, no, they want the tree.
Oh, the tree. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it is a fun.
All these are really for us in case we forget or something.
Right. Yeah. I'll take a stab at one. Any other comments? No, I think we're good there.
Oh, he wants added to the code page for that. The sensitivity adjustment for that. Is it better to do a GitHub issue?
A PR? I think you could do a PR. Yeah, if you want to add a PR, definitely. We'll take a look at it.
Because that'll be way more easier for...
Yeah, because then we just bring in the code
receipts.
change.
Yeah, we need the receipts. and for us not forgetting to.
Yeah,
It's easy to put it in a task that way.
exactly. Yep. Yeah, and I still have a backlog of CAD parts to catch up on. So yeah, we are very busy these days.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you for helping us out.
Let's see. And since anybody's still sticking around, the Raspberry Pi 5s get launched, I think, at what
Live
time?
on the show. Yeah,
Live
on
during Ask an Engineer. So
yeah, that's the
make
best
sure
way to
you're
do
watching. Yep. They'll say when it launches, so just be on the site. That's all I can say.
it. Yeah, it's a
That
great
is
way to
when
do
they'll
it.
be
Glad they're doing it that way.
So the gift to y'all
Yep.
for
And you use
anybody
coupon
still
code.
sticking around.
I don't think the coupon code works on. Maybe it does. I don't know. Let us know.
On what?
On the
Raspberry
Pi 5. Yeah, because the
I think
margin's
it
razor
does.
thin. I don't think there's any margin.
I know.
We sell them at a loss.
Everybody does.
I think everybody does, yeah. But we sell them when we have them, which is a lot better than a back order.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
All right, that is it. We've exceeded our hour long. But thanks everybody for coming on the show. Everybody in the Discord chat room, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you're inspired to work on some festive projects. We'll be back next week. But until then, remember to make a great day.
See you next week.
Bye, everybody. See you tonight.